if you are here, if you are there and you are hearing me well, please do a high five by sending an emoji of a hands up or a thumb up, and then I'll be able to know that you are hearing me loud and clear. Are you there? You know, with this internet, we may think that some people are there when they are waiting for the session to begin. I can see Ronald so far, and I want to be sure that we are on the same page. This is a topic that is so dear to me, and I do believe it is so dear to you, looking at the presence with the online now. Okay, wonderful. I'm going to put my video off for now so that we concentrate on the discussion, but I'll put it on again for the sake of those who have joined later, so they're able to see me properly. As rightly introduced by Ronald, my name is Herbert Turyatunga. I had the honor and privilege of researching about family business governance, and specifically I looked at large size family businesses in Uganda. And obviously, as research requires, I had to delve into the global, regional, and Ugandan perspectives. So as I share about the businesses that I carried out research from, I also be sharing from other practices that I saw are cutting across the Ugandan businesses, and also other experiences. I will actually not only limit my experience with businesses that I carried out research with, but also engage with the other experiences that I've acquired throughout my other research that I've carried out. At MBA level, I also did research on family business governance, but from a different perspective. But as Ronald said, this one was specifically on transgenerational family business continuity. So now let me put off the video and we go deep into the discussion. But first, did you know that on average, 70% of the family businesses globally fail the succession plan, the succession test? Yes, you actually heard it properly.
Oh.
On average, 70%. Yes, please.
Can you put the slides in slideshow?
I haven't started on the slides.
Oh, okay. Good.
Okay. On average, 70% of the family businesses in the world fail the succession test. I know you may be saying mine is not a family business, but let me tell you, majority of the businesses in the world are family businesses. Actual research has it that over 70% of the businesses are family businesses. So if 70% of the family businesses, which are the majority in the world, fail the succession test, chances are that actually if the 30% remaining businesses also fail the succession test. And by the way, do you know that your family could be, your business could be a family business? Now join me shortly as we discuss this and more. So we are going to first look at the case for succession planning. Why should we do succession planning in the first instance? One, businesses are important to very many stakeholders. I know we start businesses sometimes for our own good, want to make money, want to do some things, but with our businesses, want to give services or want to solve a problem like all entrepreneurs do. But generally, the businesses are important to very many stakeholders. So the success of your business is actually the success and the pride of many. Because your business brings income to you and your family, it brings taxes to the government, your business brings income to the suppliers, you offer employment to many people, and many people are looking forward to you employing them. You also offer goods and services that are dearly wanted. And by the way, your business is a pride to many. You don't know how many people are actually looking forward to your business succeeding as a brother, as a cousin, as a father, to say, you know what? That is my father's business. That is my uncle's business. That is our business. And so it's a pride to many people. Incidentally, as I had said, the global statistics say that between 70 to 95% of the businesses are family businesses. 70 to 95%, they are family businesses. Now, why that range of 70 to 95? It depends on different continents. Some continents are around 70, 75, 85, and some are around 95. Actually, in Africa, they are around 75%. And you know, our data is not always that good. And family businesses offer 80% of all employment opportunities. This is research globally checked by different researchers. Therefore, if at least 70% of Ugandan businesses are family businesses, the success and failure of family businesses may give a hint on what is happening with the rest of the businesses. So whereas I did my research on family businesses, I do believe that my findings will actually resonate with all businesses in Uganda. Continuing with the family businesses, I told you that 70% fail the succession test. Yes, only 30% are able to transition from the first generation to the second generation. Again, research has it that on average, the first generational change of the business leadership and ownership is around 24 years. Now, that means that the first owner, the founder of the business who started it, on average, will run with a business up to 24 years. And so we may not think that failure rates are high because for around 24 years, we have had this business succeeding. But most of the businesses die with the founders immediately after that, after the average of 24 years, and therefore after the founder's death. And only 10 to 15% are able to transition to the third generation. And 3% are only able to go to the fourth generation. This is very disturbing, that we can only have 30% going to the second generation, 10% to 15% going to the third generation, and 3% going to the fourth generation. I think the founders look at us from wherever they are, in heaven or if not in heaven, and they're saying, wait, I toiled all my life and my business is going to the west. And therefore, that's my basis of saying, if over 70% of the family businesses fail, there's a succession and transition challenge that we must address. And I'm glad we're addressing this today. Oh, sorry. So where am I drawing my lessons from? My research focused on 7 large-size businesses, and they were intentionally chosen. But for the sake of keeping time, I will not tell you how I went around that. But I focused on 7 large family businesses, 4 belonging to Ugandans of Indian descent, and 3 of indigenous Ugandans. You can say a Fairway Hotel and Spa. You can say Rugazi Sugar Corporation of Uganda, Rugazi, which is Meta group of companies. You can see Dauda group of companies, and I specifically went to Chams, and they gave a representation of Dauda group of companies, Graphic Systems, Ntake group of companies, Aponya Uganda, and Delight Uganda Limited. However, in my sharing, I will not be talking about specifically each of these companies, because I told them that whichever data I collect, I'll be sharing it generally, unless I have asked for permission to share specifically what is relevant to this company. And so I'll be drawing experience from those ones and many others that I've consulted for. Of the 7 large-size businesses, 2 were already in the 3rd generation management.
Herbert,
Yes.
a quick one. Are you moving the slides now, or
Not
they
yet.
are not
Not yet.
moving on our side? Eh?
Yes. Hey, are you still on the first one?
We are still on the first one.
Businesses that I... Hello? Ronald? Hello? Are you seeing the businesses that I am drawing my lessons from? Are you seeing that slide?
We are still on the first slide. I think that.
Sure.
That's what we see on the screen. So you can possibly.
And now? Are you seeing that one? Hello? Hello? Are you seeing that one now? Anyone in the audience seeing the slide where I'm drawing lessons from? Hello? Okay, I can see Eugene is seeing it.
We can see them now. We can see them now.
Okay, wonderful. Of the 7 large-size family businesses, 2 businesses were already in the 3rd generation management, 2 in the 2nd generation management, and 3 in the 1st and 2nd generation management, meaning that they had both the 1st and 2nd generation managing the business together, but one has since gone into full management of the 2nd generation. So what are the best practices which I want to dwell on now? Number 1, the succession planning and implementation actually begins as early as possible, and it is a process. All of these companies that I interview, the owners that I interviewed, by the way, I interviewed the owners, the family members who are employed by these businesses, and non-family professional members working in these businesses. So I had a very rich, I had very rich information that I had to cross-check to make sure that the business owners, what they are telling me is what the family members who are working in are telling me, and what the non-family professional managers working in senior level are telling me. So the first best practice is that you begin a succession process as soon as you start your business. Now that defeats our common understanding of succession planning as an academician, because we think it's a process of sitting in a boardroom and beginning to craft the mission, the vision, and the values, and etc. But the founders and the ones who are currently running the businesses, because some of the founders have since left this world, told me that the process begins early, and in most instances, the owners actually don't know that they are doing succession planning. And how do they begin this? They lay a strong foundation for business growth and continuity. And that is from the character of the founder. Majority of the family owners, the current ones, drawing lessons from their founders, and even some of the founders that I interviewed, told me that for them, unintentionally, they started the process without knowing that they had started the process. Their character is what attracted different people to them. That they had their values, and some of the cross-cutting values included honesty, integrity, resilience, hard work, and then a culture of, we have to, what we promise is what we do. And so they didn't even think about vision, mission, policies, values like we usually do in consultancy, but they had those things in their minds. And so they started the process by laying a strong foundation, which was rooted in the founder's character. And it's only later on that they realized that they had started the process of succession planning and transition. Because it's on that foundation that the other steps had to build on, even when they invited in consultants and others to streamline the processes. Number two, I hope I'm moving. If the slides are moving, let somebody in the audience, Ronald, if you are there, just put a thumb up. I will know that they are moving. As I move the slides, I'll just be checking to see whether there's a thumb up. Great. Eugene is one of the very active participants. I need to give you a reward. Okay, number two, in addition to building a strong foundation on which to have this succession plan and the transition management process, there was timely and proper engagement of the right professionals as partners in business growth and continuity. Now, you realize I have underlined the word partners. The current owners of the businesses, for example, when I talk about those ones which are already in third generation, they were talking about the experiences of their founders. They were talking about the experience of the second generation. And they are talking about even themselves. And they said, you know, the moment you get to understand that the business has gone beyond your capacity is the moment you know that succession planning actually should have taken place a long time ago. Now, a number of them told me that they had to begin by having some of the key professionals in place. You need an accountant to make sure your books are in order. You need a lawyer to make sure that you're on the right side of the law. The legal and regulatory requirements are being taken care of. You need a management consultant to make sure that they help you with the processes of business and how to go about everything. And how do you go about this? I will not delve into the details for now because of time. If you have questions, we shall answer them as time goes on. But you need to know who you have to bring on board. And when they come on board, treat them as partners in the development of your business. Don't treat them as employees. The employee mentality will not take your business far. The partnership mentality will take your business very far. You need to know when to engage them and how to engage them. You will not engage all the professionals at a go. Your business will not succeed because you'll spend a lot of money on them. You need to know how to keep on adding on professionals. And then how do you engage them? Some of them you have to begin with them as full-time workers or consultants that they are hiring. Some are part-time. Others are coming in as managers, while others are coming in as consultants. Again, there's a detail that I have to discuss on that, but I cannot go into that for now. But make sure there's timely and proper engagement of the right professionals and treat them as partners in the business growth and continuity. Number three, and today I'll be sharing only 7 key points for the sake of time. I know the time limitation that we have. Has the slide moved? I don't know, Dan Eugene. Well, number 3. Thank you very much, Eugene. By the way, I'm seeing EUG. I am suspecting that it's Eugene, so I hope I am saying the right person. So it's EUG. Or Enterprise Uganda, or something, I don't know. Develop and execute the succession plan and transition strategy. Now you realize the first 2 points were not about even the real formalized systematic succession planning and transition management process that we usually start with. But this, as owners moved on, realized that they need now to formalize the process. And by the way, all of them were emphasizing the fact that succession planning and transition management is a process. It's not an event. The majority of the business owners treat it as an event, which happens at the death of the founder. And obviously there it is too late. And so they said that when they reached some point, they realized they needed to now to develop and formalize the succession plan and transition strategy. And there are 2 components of this. Number one was to have a succession plan, which involved having the ownership plan, who are the current owners and who are going to be the future owners of this business. Because at some point, ownership will change hands. Is it your will that the ownership remains in the hands of the family business, or that you share, you'll sell some of the shares to the public or another partner? And for purposes of clarity of definition of family business, it's any business that is owned and or controlled by one or two families. So ownership and control, whose majority is in the hands of the family or two families. And so they had to develop an ownership plan, the current ownership plan and the future ownership plan. That to be very, very clear. For the sake of the family, it's not that everyone in the family is necessarily an owner. When you're registering a business, you indicate who is having how many shares in your company. Same with the family business, same with your business. Be very clear about who is the owner currently and who are going to be the owners in the future, just in case events of this world happen and you are not there, and people have to decide who the owners will be. Number two is the business plan. And this is what we usually focus on, especially as we develop plans of the foundations, the mission, the vision, the values, the policies that will lead us to make sure that the business, and then the future plans, obviously, the goals, the strategic plan, the strategy of how we are going to go into where we want to go. And so they realized that initially, the plan was in the minds of the founder. There was no need of writing a plan. These people actually, not necessarily well educated, that was another finding. It's not about being well educated, although the second and third generation, actually, majority of them are very, very well educated. The founders depended mainly on their vision in their minds, on their mission in their minds, on their values that they lived by, on the culture that everyone saw in them, and the future that they aspired to go to. But they reached a moment where they realized that as they brought people on board, they need to put things in clear and have a clear business plan. Then a management plan. Successful family businesses, and by extension, other businesses, had to come up with a management plan. Now, ownership is one thing, and management is another. Yes, I own this business, but am I strong enough to continue managing it? Or when I started it and I was managing it in my briefcase, it has since outgrown me. I can continue managing it, but I will put it in the hands of a professional manager, as a general manager, as I remain in charge of the governance. So they had to come up with a management plan. And lastly, on that part of succession plan, for the family businesses, they had to make sure that there is a family plan. You know, the moment you begin a family business, the family is looking forward to earning something from it, to getting something from you. They cannot stay hungry when you are making money. And so, unless you plan how you are going to help your family continue to survive without crippling the business, that means that your family will, whether in your presence or after, interfere with the running of the business. And so there's need for a family plan. There's need for a family governance structure. And that has a lot of details also to discuss. A need for policies that will help this family relate with the business. Next is still on developing and executing the succession plan and transition strategy. Now that you have already come up with a plan, and sometimes I hear these things don't go, the first one and this one, they say they sometimes go hand in hand. There is need for early identification, exposure, and preparation of potential successors. Who are the potential successors in terms of management, in terms of ownership, in terms of governance? And so successful family businesses, and by extension other businesses, say that, you know, you have to involve the key stakeholders in the running of the business. In the case of families, make sure that your children, whoever you want to take on the leadership of their business, are involved in the running of the business. They know the ins and outs of the business. It was interesting to note that actually the sons and daughters of these founders had to make sure that their children start working at the lowest level of the company, not to come in as managers or as executives. They had to come in and go into all departments and work like any other worker in order to understand every part of the organization. But they also intentionally make sure that their children, their sons and daughters, their relatives that they intend to make sure that they continue with the business are employed in other successful businesses. So let them go there and work for 2, 3, 4, 5 years as they benchmark. When they go there, they'll be able to pick lessons on how things are being run there and bring those lessons home. Now, these people that are going to take on your leadership, the leadership of your business, actually had to make sure that they are introduced significant stakeholders. If you are the founder, if you are the owner, the current owner, please begin moving with a potential successor to significant stakeholders. Do your customers know the people who are going to take over after you? Do your bankers know? Actually, are you a sole signatory to the accounts? Do the suppliers know about them? Do they interact with them? Do they know the prices? How about the business partners that you work with? In case today you are not around, can the business partners continue the discussion, the conversation with the successors that will take on? And there was a deliberate mentorship and involvement. There was deliberate mentorship and involvement trainings of successors. Intentionally, these people were trained and mentored to take on business. It's not a shame for them to begin identifying those who are going to be able to take on leadership. What was cutting across is that the likely next family leader is not necessarily the person that can take on the leadership of the business. If that's the case, don't be shy to say, this will take on the leadership of the business, but this other one will be the leader of the family, and then make sure that there's a strong family governance structure that will harmonize the two. And lastly on that, they started delegating and handing over responsibilities gradually but steadily to make sure they are seeing how they are working and how they are progressing, and to make sure that they are able to take over after. Point number 4, EUG and Ronald, are we there?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Great. Decide who is who in the business and let the significant others know about that. Who is who in the business? I've drawn that picture, which is a common one in the family business governance. In a business of a family nature, there is ownership, there is family, there is business. As you can see, the 3 circles, there are different stakeholders. There are family members who are just family members. They are in the family, but they are not employees of the business. They are not owners of the business. And so they are there. But there are some family members who are employees of the business. There are family members who are employees and owners of the business. There are family members who are owners of the business. Same with the ownership. There are some family businesses that are not 100% owned by the family. And so you find in ownership, there's non-family and family owners. Then there's also the business. There are people who are running the business and have nothing to do with the ownership and nothing to do with the family. They are professional managers. Please don't mix up issues. If a family member is not an owner, let it be known, especially if you are the founder or if you are the current leader of the business. If you think that chance will happen and people will understand that your will was that so-and-so remain the owners or the managers, after the death, that's where we see businesses crumbling. And so there's need for you to decide and communicate and let everyone understand who is who. Sort out that as early as possible. Point number 5. Are we okay with the time, Ronald and team? We are having yeah, great. Great. Point number 5 is that to ensure successful succession planning and continuity across different generations, businesses were using corporate social responsibility intentionally. They did not just do corporate social responsibility as a requirement or as other companies are doing it. As you see in the picture, we have the marketplace, we have the workplace, we have the community, we have the environment. You know, as a business, you have license to operate in courts from many stakeholders. Whereas you get the license to operate from a government, you also have to get the license to operate from the community. They give you the goodwill. If they don't want you in the community, they can make help for your business. The marketplace, the professionals coming to work for you, and even businesses being sold there. The workplace, people enjoying the workplace and engaged and really happy with everything. And the environment, taking care of the environment. A company that is not taking care of the environment will suffer a lot. So these successful businessmen know that corporate social responsibility is not something that is required by books or government or anybody. It's a strategy for business growth, transition, and sustainability. How? If I invest in students in their education and they go through university, in most instances, if I have been interacting with them very, very well, they are my potential employees, they are my potential customers, they are my potential suppliers. So which corporate social responsibility are you doing? And how is it contributing to the bottom line of your business? How is it helping your business grow? How is it helping your business remain there? If you have educated this person through university, and they get to know that your business is being put up for sale, and they are lawyers, they'll be the ones to go to defend you in court for free. If they're accountants, they'll come and put the books in order for you. If they are management consultants, whatever they are, even if they're not working for you, they are there to defend you. If they're in government, they'll be the ones who are saying, you know what, let's bail out this company. But they also use corporate social responsibility as a risk management strategy. Just like I've said, these are the people that will guard you jealously. They are the ones who will guide you. They are the ones who identify where problems are. They are the ones who identify who the good customers for you are. They are the ones who will tell you, they will talk about you in boardrooms where you are not, you and your business, that you actually have nice things that they need to get from you. The second last point is that for transition to happen and the business continues to another generation and more generations, the founders acknowledged that they had limitations. Yes, they know that they had grown the business up to a certain level, but they cannot continue with what they used to know to run the business, and therefore they were open to new ideas, creativity, and innovation. What was cutting across was the fact that business founders who are glued to their way of doing business and they don't want to hear from others will die with their businesses. Because one, they will not make the children and others who want to work in the business come wholeheartedly. Even if they're working there, they'll be physically there, but mentally not there. And so you want to have somebody who is wholly committed to the business. And so these founders and the subsequent owners and managers of the businesses had to understand that the businesses grow from a startup stage to growth stage to maturity and expansion stage to decline stage. And so they had to realize at the beginning, when I was starting the business, I was the alpha and omega of the business. But as the business grows, I need ideas. As you can see in the picture, there's creativity and innovation. Creativity, they are just painting some of the already existing spaces. But innovation, they are bringing in completely new things. They're working on the processes. It was interesting to learn some of the processes, some of the new ideas, some of the new products, some of the new projects that have come in as a result of the successive generations and the workers they bring on board. So a founder or the owner of the business or the subsequent owner of the business, not the founder, that is stuck on how they used to do business and is not allowing others to come in and be creative and innovative, will not have their business succeed, however much they have a succession plan and they are trying to implement it. Lastly, documentation. This actually came from some businesses and they were warning the rest of others, and some of them were telling me, as we interact with the businesses, please tell them to document. And there are mainly two kinds of documentations that they were talking about. Number one, the business transactions, record keeping. And majority of them were saying, especially those who have already succeeded to the third and more generations, that if you don't have your records clear and any event happens and the founder is no more, or the current manager is no more, the people who take on will not know where to begin from. And so they said, for the sake of growing your business, and for the sake of knowing where you need to go, looking at the trends, please have the key documentation in place. What you're seeing on the side is number two, the business story, the founder's story and their philosophy. That book, which was given to me, I actually keep reading it and reading it. It has inspired me that I don't want to leave it. It was one of the few copies that was remaining. It was given to me by the current leader of the Sugar Corporation of Uganda Limited. And it is about the founder, Meta, Dream Half Expressed. The title alone is very intriguing. Dream Half Expressed. Sounds like he left room for others to continue with the dream, to express it and implement it. And so when I was given this book, even when I was carrying out my research, I would sometimes forget that I'm supposed to be interviewing others and going to other companies. And I would find myself absorbed in this book, seeing how the founder started the whole dream, how he has grown it into a big international company from a very young boy, and then how he has managed. This book has become a Bible of the sorts. It has becoming a guiding star in darkness, not a star, that's star. It is something that is helping them in times of trouble. You have to come back and say, how would the owner run this business? Owners of businesses, founders of businesses, managers of businesses. That story is what people bought into before they bought into your business. They saw your resilience. They saw your commitment to quality. They saw your commitment to delivering on time, your integrity. And they said, if we give this person a loan, we'll be able to continue. I mean, he'll be able to pay back. And so they gave loans to people, individuals, not the company. And so when the company, and moreover, most of the family businesses have the founders' names as the names of the business. Mwana, Meta group of companies. I mean, name them. You find they are proud to use their family names as the name of the business. Why? Because it's all about the founder. The innovations and creativity is only building on that. So documentation helps. Even as they are building on the vision and mission and the values and the culture and the strategy, and they're trying to move with the times, they are guided by the star that guided them. The book, the encyclopedia. And when there's, and you know, this unites all of them. It unites the family, it unites the business professional managers and others. So summary and conclusion, in order to leave room for discussion, please start the process early, lay a strong foundation. If you did not lay a very strong foundation, the picture I had was of a building. If your foundation is for one level of a building, you cannot put 4 or 5 stories. Some of the businesses actually may need to go back and say, how can we rebuild the foundation? You need to demolish the foundation. You have, we talk about the foundational philosophies. I don't want to make this an academic presentation, but we're talking about the vision, the mission, the values, the culture, the strategy. How are they? And especially the values. Are what you are saying as the company values, the actual values that everyone is seeing? I've had an opportunity of consulting for different organizations, and I see on the walls values that are pinned up. And when I ask the employees and the owners their values in a wise way, without necessarily using the word values, because when I say what are the core values of your company, everyone tells me what they are. They have rehearsed them, they know them off head, because they are going to be used in appraisal. But when I ask and I am twisting the word, they tell me what the operational values are that are different from the values that are there. They are put up integrity, but integrity is not what they are practicing. And so make sure that the foundation is strong. Number 2, stakeholder mapping and engagement. As a CSR strategy and risk management strategy, the stakeholders will make or break your company. The suppliers, the customers, the employees, business partners. They are not your enemies. Business partners are your partners in progress. The government, all of them. Please decide who is who in your business and make them contribute accordingly. Put it in writing so that there is no problem after you have left. Have a succession plan in place. And remember, we've talked about 3 types of succession plans that are needed. And then after you have had it in place, make sure that you have intergenerational and transgenerational engagement. Intergenerational, people of your generation are involved in your business, but also transgenerational, people of different generations are involved in the business. In politics, we see what is happening in Kenya. I was trying to look at the composition of people in governance. We may say that majority of the people are still in school, but the Gen Zs are not in school. We may say that maybe making 1 or 2 of them ministers when they're still young, they are very young. But these young people they know what they can bring on board or on table, while the old people also are bringing something on table. So begin bringing those young people, have different generations in your business for continuity's sake, but also within your generation. Don't do it alone. Then early identification and preparation of potential and actual successors. Please prepare them intentionally. Have a preparation plan, a development plan, written down and being executed. Spend on them, and by the way, pay for your employees when they are family, even when they are family members. Number 6. Please be open to new ideas. Creativity and innovation will only come in when you are open. You are the founder, you are feared, you are respected. And so it's you who will make the others feel like they want to contribute to this business. And lastly, please document. The business management, the story, the records are in place, so that anybody who is taking on will understand what you are doing and where they need to begin from. And if anybody comes to them saying you never paid tax, or you owe so and so money, you are able to see that actually they are saying it's true or not. The founder's story as an inspiration to very many. And lastly, business succession planning. Remember, it's an intentional process. It's something that you do intentionally. It's something that you begin unaware, and something that you do every now and then. It's a process. It's not an event. Please have it in place so that you have a less turbulent transition, or else 70% is too big a figure. If only 30% of the business is transition, then we're in trouble. And yet our businesses are needed by very many stakeholders. Thank you very, very much. Ronald, over to you.
Thank you so much, Herbert, for that in-depth conversation. Quite a lot to take in, amazing revelations there. I think what's possibly most fascinating about this work, the businesses which you concentrated on, these are brand names that we know. You heard about Take, you heard about Lugazi Sugar. Those are names which have been around and we have seen them. And I think for me, it is one of the things which kind of underpins why these lessons that you're teaching us are important, because they have been tested and these are experiences of people who have walked through this journey. I think at this moment we'll have an opportunity to ask questions. For those who have a question which you want to ask, please do put up your hand. Saying
Ronald, are you there? Hello? Looks like Ronald has dropped.
Sorry,
Yes,
I
Ronald.
dropped off a bit. Can you hear me now? Yes,
Yes,
I
I'm
see a
hearing
hand
loud
from
and clear.
Safari. Safari, please go ahead and ask your question. Emma, are you there?
Yes, Ronald, I was hearing you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much,
Yes,
Mr. Turyatunga,
Emma,
for
go
this.
ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Turyatunga, for this brilliant presentation. It is so spot on. I've been taking notes, I've been taking screenshots because I want to share this with our family business and see how we can revive it. Because when you talk about, actually, the facts speak for themselves. 70% of the business never transition, they collapse, they never sustain, as we see some of those books that you mentioned. My question is, can you also point out maybe that one of the major reasons that this business never transition is they are very susceptible to risks, and they never envision that risks, especially fires, thefts, burglaries, are ever going to come into their businesses, and they will have to start from scratch. So how, I'm being an insurance promoter, I feel that you as business management consultants have not pushed this idea enough to the business owners, because it is so sad to see that a business that is thriving for 10 years, 20 years gets a major, and especially for factories, the Antakes, had they not had insurance, they would not have bounced back. But where do we go wrong? Why is the African culture so bad that they feel that, first of all, they think that risks are just curses, you rebuke the devil, but I mean, they are part of us. People are surviving, they are seeing protests can happen. We haven't secured your businesses on the main road. So maybe that is one thing I want you to point out and elaborate more. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Safari, for that question. Ronald, please go ahead and ask.
Yeah, thank you so much, our facilitator this morning. I have a couple of comments. First is that I want to speak about the founder syndrome. many of these founders have noticed that they have actually been the biggest risks or threats to the businesses that they have founded. They live a larger than life kind of personality. Once they become successful, a lot of them have fallen into the trap of wanting to be recognized and rewarded, and celebrate their successes, enjoy their sweat, and in so doing, they have actually become their own risks, and some of them actually collapsed because of that high appetite for recognition and reward. That's my first comment. My second comment is actually a question. Did you have specific findings for the local, or rather indigenous business owners, and also those that are foreign owned? Because in your presentation, you've been talking about founders without segregating the specific findings that you picked out from the indigenous and versus the foreign owned businesses. Number three, I would request you to dig deeper into the aspect of extended family or polygamy. I would like you to take a study and inform us later on whether there are unique issues in terms of succession that are brought about by a family owner being a polygamous man, in this case man, and one that is not polygamous. Are there lessons and special things for us to learn as we go along? Lastly, the issue of identifying early potential successor is very, very important. But also in that comes the need to protect the potential or the person you've anointed. In our cases, sometimes jealousy comes in. This person can even be plotted against. Even in worst case circumstances, something fatal could happen to them. So I thought that it's important for us, if we identify or anoint successors, we should be able to nurture, but also protect them from against their own kinsmen and women. Thank you very much. Those are my comments.
Thank you so much, Ronald. Those are very, very deep conversations indeed. I think Herbert will address them. Hudson, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Ronald, and thank you very much, Herbert, for the presentation. Herbert is my lecturer. Now, in my day-to-day work, I do some audit and tax advisory services. We came across a company, Ugandan company, that was started in 1984. The challenge that the company is having is that all the children were educated abroad and they are employed abroad. None of them wants to come back and take the company to the next level. The proprietor passed on about 2 years ago. It is now the lady that is in charge. The children are highly educated, but they don't want to come back. What is your comment on such a scenario? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hudson. And I think the issue which you raise is one which is close to many people's hearts, especially the appetite for foreign education and people finding better options out there and choosing not to return home. And what does that mean for succession? Herbert, I think you could address those. We'll have another round. I just wanted to add one question there and possibly to both the question Hudson and Herbert and Ronald have asked. What is your comment about just saying my exit plan is to sell the business? Is there a point where you reach and you say, you know what, I don't think with this family of mine we will succeed at succession. I just need to sell, check out, we share, and we go. What's your thought on that?
Come again, Ronald. I didn't get the question properly.
I was asking that what is your take on a case where you feel like succession won't work for us? I just need to sell the business and exit. Did you get such comments from some of the people you interviewed, or from other pieces of other evidence which you picked from other places?
Well, thank you very much. Wonderful questions. I wish we had a whole day or more to discuss some of these. Number one, Emma Sanyu, risks. Yes, most of the family businesses find themselves having a lot of risks that they have to deal with. The challenge is, especially when the founders started it from the grass and they have not had serious challenges, risk challenges, fire and others, they don't tend to want to spend on insurance or any other interventions. But I realized that a number of family businesses that are succeeding, again, we're talking about success, insure their businesses. They know what to insure and what not to insure. But I also realized that sometimes the insurance companies have not pitched their businesses properly to help the businesses understand why they need to insure their businesses. That's what came through. So there are two aspects to it. The issue of the owners sometimes feeling like all will always be well. But as I listen to them, they say they have had a number of challenges, ranging from political to economic challenges that help them appreciate the fact that you need to insure business. So this is a very rich area where businesses, insurances, if you pitch your business properly, you'll be able to partner with businesses, not only family businesses. Chirunda Ronald, the founder syndrome. Yeah, people wanting to enjoy the sweat and finishing off the wealth. Those are family businesses that collapse. If you want generational wealth, actually majority of these that are succeeding did not enjoy their wealth. That was the unfortunate bit of it. They spent most of their time trying to invest and reinvest. They put in capital that they cannot be recouped from the business because they are interested in growing one business after another, starting another business, that they end up not even enjoying their business. It's actually the second generation and going forward that mismanage the family wealth. So a few cases where there is that founder syndrome and wanting to enjoy the wealth, those are among the 70%. Then they are not actually, they are not few cases. Those are the majority that end up not transitioning to the second generation. If you want to transition to the second generation, the founder, most of the sweat is what you put in and you don't enjoy a lot. Yeah, you can enjoy, but not so much. Specific findings for local and local-owned businesses, not only foreign-owned businesses. Yes, I have them, but I couldn't share that in this presentation. But a number of them were highlighted, including what you have talked about, Ronald, the issue of culture, African culture, the extended family and polygamy. What came through from both the owners of family businesses who are of Indian descent and those who are indigenous was the fact that Africans, in most instances, don't know how to manage polygamy and its dynamics, as well as the family business. The good news from both the indigenous African business owners and Indian Ugandan business owners was the fact that those who have managed how to manage the issue of polygamy succeed. And they said there are some of them who have said business is business, family is family. If I choose so and so as a successor, that's it. And they are strong, very, very strong. They say, I have a child out of the wedlock. Here is one of them. And they begin the dynamics. They manage the dynamics when they are still alive. So that the turbulences, the legalities, and everything is sorted out. That notwithstanding, they are saying we are having a big challenge with the culture and we have to deal with that. We also realize that the foreign-owned businesses, they tend to jealously regard the businesses and they have a transgenerational wealth creation intention more than us. For us, we want to eat today, and that's it, majority of us. That's why majority that are succeeding are foreign. So they were recommending that we need to think beyond today, beyond the generation that we are in, and engage them, enjoy our wealth as they also enjoy the wealth in the coming times. Early identification of the successor and need for protection. Again, what came through was the fact that when you are talking business, tell them this is business that is for us as a family. The success of this business is the success of us as a family and the success of the business. And so it does not help to kill a successor and kill the business. And so they were very, very clear that when you identify, and before you identify the successor and begin the process of helping the successor and another person who is likely to take over, even when the potential successor gets out of the way, that you emphasize the fact that we need to look at this business beyond individuals, that the business is going to help all of you as a family, and you indicate, that's why there is the issue of a family plan. The family plan, how are they going to be benefiting from it? Because they are shares, they are dividends, they are whatever that you're going to have, and help them understand how they are going to benefit. When you do that, it'll be okay. Addison, all the children educated out of Uganda and employed there, now wanting to take over ownership. I got two interesting revelations that some families have realized that they are not good at managing their family business. And they have employed non-family professional managers. These are people who are not family members, but they are very loyal. Actually, all the founders, when I was asking, they would tell me the loyal people that they worked closely with, the founders or the current owners who know the story of the founders, they would say, so-and-so has been a royal member even when he is not a member of the family. My advice to that family would be, if there is somebody who has been professionally managing the business, you don't have to be in the management of the business day in and day out for you to say that you are the owner of the business. You can hire these professional managers and have oversight over them, have the governance, corporate governance comes in, have the board and to oversee even this general manager, what they are doing, and you don't have necessarily to be there day in and day out. But that notwithstanding, there are a number of them that have been educated from out. I interviewed a number of them who are family members that are now running the businesses here. And they are using the skills and knowledge, the competence they acquired from out of Africa to run their family businesses. But when they come, they make sure that they also team with the non-family professional managers that have been loyal to their family businesses. That they have a learning attitude, that they come and team with the people on ground, and they tell them we are succeeding together, we are failing together. The success of this business is the success of your career. Actually, some of them have given shares to some of these non-professional family members, just small shares that they remain in full control of the business. Ronald Mukasa, are there instances where members, business owners have realized succession won't work for us? We cannot have family members or the current owners continuing with this business. We just have to sell it. Yes, some members said, sometimes you have to look at it and say, are we going to sell? Are we not going to sell? Again, they said, before you decide you want to sell or not to sell, look around. Has success been strictly because of you and your family, or success has been also majorly because of employing the right non-family professional managers? Therefore, do you want to turn over the management of this business to non-family professional managers? When I was doing my literature review, I realized that in Africa, we are not yet there. We are not very good at hiring non-family professional managers as managers for our businesses, as consultants for our businesses, as family owners, family business owners. We want to be in and out. We want to make sure that we know all the details, nitty-gritty details. But if we pass on this business to a professional manager and we say, we want this at the end of the year, We want profits, we want to do A, B, C, D, the terms are the following, and we do the supervision. We have the board governance in place, then our business can continue. We may not be worried about selling the business. But there are instances when you have to look at the business and the people that you're working with and say, I think we have to sell this business. Over to you, Ronald.
Thank you so much, Herbert, for those submissions. Very, very deep submissions there. Thank you. Yes, there are a couple of comments which are coming through. I see here, John says, what advice would you give to business leaders who are just starting their succession planning journey? How do you see the role of succession planning evolving in the future, especially with the rise of digital transformation and changes in business environment? You will address those are in the chat box. Jacqueline says, how do you incorporate founders' children who have an entitlement mentality into the business if this is the wish of the founder? I think Jacqueline is speaking from the perspective of, I'm in this business, but the founder has brought their child, but the child feels like they own the thing. So that entitlement mentality, how do we actually deal with that? Florence says, thank you very much for the presentation. How does one selectively determine who among the second generation would run? How do you choose? You have 3 boys and 3 girls. How do you choose who should run? How do you know who that successor is? What process do you go through to choose the successor? And possibly I'll add one extra question to that. Is it okay for a girl to take over? I mean, in some of our cultures, it's still a big debate. And you say that my successor has to be a boy. You talked about something, Herbert, there, about having the family leader and the business leader. How does gender play into this succession journey? What was your experience from the companies that you looked at? Herbert, you can address those, then we will see if we have time for another round.
Wow, interesting. If founders' children with entitlement mentality, I realize the discussion is dwelling so much on family business governance, which is nice. Actually, majority, if I went to define properly family business, you'll find majority of our businesses around our family businesses. And globally, remember Samsung, Hyundai, Toyota, Walmart, Mugwana, Mukwano, Meta, Ponye, Fairway Hotel. I mean, all these are family businesses. You talk about big businesses, big brands, they are family businesses. So when we concentrate on family businesses, I think we are not wrong, even when we are talking about generally family, businesses. So founders' children with entitlement mentality, one thing was very, very clear, that family is family and business is business. If you don't approach family business governance from that perspective, you are bound to fail. And so you are going to have a way you are going to manage your business and the way you're going to manage your family. And there are a number of documentations that we need, especially when we come to family governance. We call it the entrepreneurial family or business family. Not everyone in this family of the founder is necessarily interested in the business. Some of them are just interested in the proceeds of the business. And so you have to, and some of them want to work in the business in order to just earn a salary without meaningfully and professionally contributing. And so you have to have family governance system in place to ensure that, one, the values and the cultures of the founder are espoused by the family, the current and going forward. This, the Turyatunga family, is what we believe in. These are our values. As regards the business, this is how we relate with it. So we develop family policies. These are policies that are concerned with how the family members who are going to be employed in a family business or who are already employed in the family business will be treated? If they become entitled, if they're not performing, how do we handle them? And those policies are developed by professionals working with the family business, with the enterprising family, the founder's family. And you agree and make sure that they pass the legal test. And you say, this is it. For anybody interested in working in the business family, you have to have the following qualifications. When you misbehave, this is how we discipline you. And when we discipline you at the business level, when you come home, you are still a member of the family. So there are a number of policies that are developed to ensure that governance interaction between the family and the business. And obviously then the business governance policies and procedures. How do we govern this? Whoever is an employee, manager, supervisor, director, everything that guides a director, non-family professional manager and family professional manager should be the same. Don't play around with the business. That actually came through strongly from the Ugandans of Indian descent. And that's why I think they are succeeding more than us. Don't mix businesses. Even if it is your spouse. Actually, a number of them recommended that you need to agree way before how you are going to handle in-laws. When an in-law comes in, has he or she become a member of the family? Is he or she entitled to working in a business? If they work in the business, how are the interactions going to be like? Decide that, have the policies in place, and one business's policies are not necessary for the other business. Consultants are warned especially on this. When you are developing these policies, there are policies regarding this particular business family. We don't copy and paste from one family to another, or what has happened in America or Israel or India. We have to understand and say, this is our will, right? This is how we are going to do it. So anybody entitled will be managed according to family governance systems and business governance systems. How do you choose the successor? Interest. The findings were very clear. Not everyone will be interested in the business, running of the business. They will be interested in the proceeds, but not the governance, the management of the business. So categorize them. No, this one is interested in the management of the business. You'll see them. They want to be there, even when they're children, even as they are growing up. They are studying things which are not related to business. Don't make sure that only those who are interested. And therefore they said, even if it is a male or female, don't choose because of culture. That was also coming through, especially from the Ugandans of Indian descent, saying sometimes we want to look at culture so much, but if as a family you have harmonized your issues, it will be easy. So gender shouldn't be an issue. And we have one of the big family businesses here that was handed over to a female. We know it very well. So if you want to stick to the firstborn being the automatic MD or owner or manager of the business as a successor, you may be wrong. He or she, the firstborn, may be the right person, may be the wrong person. So look at the interest. Any other question I've not addressed? Ronald, over to you.
Thank you so much, Herbert. Very, very insightful conversation there. Our time is fast spent. A big thank you for joining us today. Herbert, just wanted you to take another couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. Just share your final remarks, and then we can bring this conversation to a close.
Okay. Thank you once again, Ronald Mukasa and Enterprise Uganda, for the opportunity. Succession planning is a big business. It's a process. It's not an event. You have to invest in it. Make sure that as the founder, and if you're not the founder and you have taken over a business that was started by another person, make sure that you have a strong foundation, where it means rebuilding it now. Make sure that your values, your culture, your vision and mission of the family especially is rhyming with a business, how you harmonize that one. There are professionals who can be there to help you. Make sure there are governance processes. How do we manage our family in a way that rests with the business very well? How do we manage the business in a way that will succeed and we create transgenerational wealth? Make sure that you appreciate and engage the different stakeholders because they are critical for the success of your business. Make sure that you have strategies that are aimed at sustainability, risk management, corporate social responsibility. Who are you investing in? How are you winning them over to have an owner's mentality and guard your business jealously? Make sure your documentation is in place. There are key documents that will help you look back and look forward and say, this is where we are going. So have feedback sessions, have review sessions. The quick advice I want to give every business owner right here present, make sure that you do periodic evaluation of your businesses to assess and be sure of the whole business and see how it's operating, the health of this organization, and have the right interventions to make it succeed. It's possible to have your business among the 30% that are able to transition to the second generation, among the 10 to 15% that are able to transition to the third generation, and among the 3% that are able to transition to the fourth generation. Thank you once again. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Herbert, for sharing your heart with us. A big thank you. It's been a very insightful conversation. Our friends, Herbert has shared his contact. Do contact him. He's a specialist in this space and one of the voices who has interrogated what we have locally quite significantly to be able to kind of help you as you make this conversation and you make these big decisions. A big thank you everyone who has joined. We'll be back next Thursday. Next Thursday we shall be hosting Mr. Ethan Mussolini to have a conversation about how we look at our half-year planning and a bit of personal branding. So I look forward to having you next Thursday. But for now, thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Herbert, thank you so much. Greet the family. Say thank you to them. Thank the UMI family for releasing you for this period so that we can be able to have these conversations. A big thank you. Have a blessed rest of the day.
Thank you very much, Ronald. Thank you everyone who tuned in today.